Join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
It's just like church, buddy.
All right, first item is approval of the agenda and minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda and minutes. Second.
All in favor for the approval of the minutes and agenda of the previous meeting, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on to comments from the audience. Any comments?
I'm Daryl from the Jeep Show, so I'm just here to answer if you have any questions or whatever. Thought I'd
Okay,
attend tonight, so
okay.
Well, how'd it go?
really well. The weather was kind of questionable, attendance was down a little bit, but we ended up with 219 vehicles registered, which is pretty darn good, and we had about 200 others that parked in the spectator parking lot because they didn't want to get their vehicles.
Did we have many people camp? With the
Yeah,
weather kind of being iffy?
I'm gonna say about 15 to 20 maybe, which was more than usual. We added camping onto the registration form this year, which was new, so more people, I think, learned about it. Yeah.
Are there any other questions for Daryl? Moving on, any other comments from the audience?
Oh, yeah. Had a couple, one quick question. I haven't heard anything about the property line. I know you guys turned all that stuff over.
Yep.
I haven't heard anything back. I didn't know where that process was at.
We called him 2 weeks ago, and he said our pile is getting closer to the top. That's what he said. So, the lady that's our attorney, she is coming back from maternity leave. Was it the 8th? She was supposed to be back.
It's like second.
Second or so. We're waiting for her to get back on board and helping, but hopefully soon.
And then the second question, I missed out on your one work session you had where you talked about truck route. So I was wondering, is there a proposal then to change the truck route, get it out of the residential, or are you just looking at leaving it where it was at, or what was?
I think we're working on it more, just still working on it. There's a lot of discussion about it. Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of discussion about it, about where to move it to. What's the best way of doing it.
And last question I had was about the youth and shelter service, which is moving in out here. I know it's something that we're not real, everybody's not real revved up about coming in because of what potentially could come along with the baggage with that. But I know they're looking for water and sewer hookup from the city. And I don't know if you guys thought about using this as a time to maybe use that for a little leverage against the state, help fund expanding water. And sewer
Not at
treatment.
this time.
Not at this time.
Nope. Any further comments from the audience, discussion?
My name is William Orchard. I just want to kind of show up and introduce ourselves. This is my wife Heather. We moved to Cambridge beginning of June. So I'm looking at it, maybe kind of help out around, see, where things, maybe lend some ideas or just, just kind of be a helpful person around town that maybe, find a place to help out.
Sure.
So.
What was your first name?
William and Heather Orchard.
Okay.
Welcome to Cambridge.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, you guys have probably seen us, we cruise around on our golf all the time.
Right.
Just kind of just have a good old time, but. I did want to bring up one other thing is, I was listening to some of the meetings that I wasn't able to make it to, and there was somebody that brought up an issue about the TP and human waste along the trails. And I just thought of a quick, idea that we could, in my personal opinion, I'm not a huge bike rider, and I don't really even care for the way the trail systems are set up, but I think since the system is there, we should probably try to utilize it. And, if people like coming here, maybe make more permanent facilities for these people. And I think I was, in my head, it's just kind of a quick idea is maybe we can jump on top and be proactive, maybe offering some porta potties right away. And, if that's in the budget, I have no idea. And then maybe propose a plan and going forward so we can accommodate some of these people. We aren't having an ongoing issue. And I know some places let the county and stuff do that, but maybe if we could be proactive and maybe make our own facilities and that we could maybe take more ownership of that. And also another idea that could go along with that is maybe like a donation box around where these people are parking and using. It's maybe have a quick explanation of, what have the donations go right to what they, first off, pay off porta potties if we did do something like that. Fund that so it's self-sufficient. And then if we, tell the community what we want to do and give them updates along the way. And, I think it would be opportunity and maybe further on down the road, I would think that we would want that parking a little bit off the main area and see if there's something that we can do over by the co-op area. I know the state owns a kind of a triangle over there. I don't know if we're allowed to do anything or, just some ideas to kind of balance it out.
Bless you.
Like I said, I have no agenda with the bike community, but I think we need to take care of that stuff. Just so we can, anything that is gonna bring an extra person or two, just keep catering to those people.
Sure.
And, build up.
I think we have some openings on our park and rec board right
Yeah,
now.
I was just gonna suggest. I think
That'd be
parking
great for it.
Well, I
Get
just
started.
volunteer myself for that, but
It's
Yeah,
on
that was-
Facebook if you wanna sign up.
yeah, I'd be more than willing to help out wherever I can and find out more information.
Right. We met with the Story County Conservation folks
Okay,
about putting a trailhead there. We want to get money to put a whole nice trailhead.
sure, yeah, and if we can get state, other funding and stuff, stuff.
So volunteer.
Okay, yeah, I mean, such.
Yeah, those are fantastic ideas, so thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I like the donation box.
Are there any other comments from the audience?
I'm Chris Deckever, about a West Fork. Been here for a couple of years, my first time meeting. I talked to Bobby, and I talked to Sue. I know that my property's been brought up before, source of discussion. And as I told the previous mayor, Steve, my focus before was, I built the house myself, did all the interior work myself, so my focus was the house. Now the house is done, and I'm working on the property. Sold vehicles, scrapped some, so I just gave Bobby a drawing today for a privacy fence and building permit for my gravel pad. I actually did find my lawn line on the east side tonight,
Okay.
the actual pins, so I got it all strung out. So, hopefully get that approved. I'm going in for surgery on the first, so I'll be,
Okay.
I'd like to get that fence up before that, if possible. So that's going to be great. Just, yeah, it's just a matter of time for me to get stuff done on my own.
Sure.
So it takes time.
All right, thank you. Are there any other comments from the audience? None? Approval of the list and claims and receipts.
There's just a few changes on there that some bills came in, so I adjusted just a little bit today. But no major ones.
The hydrant repair, was that just one hydrant? Just one hydrant?
Yes.
With the, how caught up are we on the water bills and stuff?
We're getting there.
A motion to approve the list of claims and receipts.
Second.
All in favor for the approval of the list and claims, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Monthly reports, treasurer's report. Any discussion on monthly reports?
The only thing I'll say with the police report, it's nice to have this service call breakdown. So, interesting to see what's happening here.
That's what Huxley also is, isn't it? All of Huxley's calls too.
I don't know what he's saying over. That's the software program and what we- Yeah.
That's
There's
good.
one department.
Okay.
So between the two.
Are there any correspondence?
Get through budget balances report that I didn't get completed.
The budget balance.
That one thing I didn't get to.
Okay.
The bank reconciliation and list of outstanding checks is off 16 cents. We just couldn't find it today, so I'll keep working on that one.
Fix report.
Correspondence. The Prairie Horizons thing just came in the mail. If anyone wanted to look through that, I sent some extra copies. And then we received Story County Community Foundation is having a ribbon cutting on October 25th. So there was a couple invitations. So I will pass that around if anybody wants to look. It's got the cityscape in there also.
No, of course.
I think so.
Moving on to reports from standing committees, water. Water and drinking water treatment facility assistant program, filter replacement. That's something somebody's working on.
Yeah,
That's the one part.
I'm working with the Mid Iowa Planning Alliance on a They've got a $500,000 grant that we could apply for by October 28th, but we need their help, so. Caleb Knudsen is one I'm working with. So I have to talk to Dale. We'll have to get together and see what they need.
Sewer and solid waste, baffle curtain repair and replacement.
We are meeting with the engineer either
Next week,
next week, so we're gonna, about two different issues.
yeah, the baffle curtain and the storm sewer. And we might be able to get grants on those too.
What part of the storm sewer is that? Is that
That's the extension. We've already got money for that. So their Fox Engineering they did the original plan, so they have the plan for the laterals that would go up from that.
Okay.
And the next item, Dale?
The motor went out on one of the motors.
No,
The
the
proposal?
remote monitoring that you just discussed with us today that came in.
That wasn't on my sheet, I forgot about it. Anyway, so to get it, so we can read it from the water plant. They want to hook up two radios down there at the lagoon, one at the lower building, one at the effluent structure, and it'll send it to the computer. So we can get all those daily off there when we're in doing our normal stuff on
Okay,
weekends and whatnot. And we got a bid.
The
today.
cost?
Yeah, the cost was a little over 5,000.
5,350. But we do have some funds still in our SRF, state revolving fund, that we could use to cover that cost to do that. So we'll be just putting it on an agenda to vote approval of that.
what's availability for that? Is that something they have?
It sounded like it would be fairly quick.
Any further discussion on that? Moving on to roads. We have a cemetery, park, library, mower repair. So I guess we got roads. Is there anything on roads? Yeah, anything on roads? All right, cemetery, park, and library. We have a mower repair on there. Want to fill us in on that, Dale?
Yep, one of the motors went out on the mower, the newer one, of course, but they apparently had used a plastic gear inside the motor and it let go. So a replacement motor would be roughly $2,500. And it has a 3-year warranty on it. So
Mm.
we're just looking, if they can get one in November, not that we're gonna need the mower, but I'd like to get it fixed so we're ready to go in the spring. And budget for a new one to replace the old.
Right.
So are you looking at having it put on then in the spring so that the warranty will start then on it, or?
I was thinking, so we don't have to wait for the motor later, get it coming now and get it in, so. If that's all right,
Would you say 3-year warranty on it?
3-year warranty.
How much?
Oh, take a motion, let's make a motion.
Oh.
Approve it.
Move to approve the purchase of a new motor.
Second.
All in favor for the purchase of a new motor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
No, you have to get 3 bids on that.
No,
Not under that. Under a certain amount, you don't have.
yeah, it's 5,000 or something like that. I think it's under 5,000.
I guess I'm not familiar. Did we ever fix any of those? I mean, you said it was a newer motor
It's,
or a newer motor.
it's the newer tube, it's a 14.
It's an older.
It's an older.
It's got a lot of hours on it, so maybe it would be worth it in the long run to over.
Yeah, well, that's what,
Or that.
yeah, it breaks.
I know I just heard of those plastic gears before, and I think there's something fairly easy, but it takes a lot of labor.
Moving on to financial economic development. Is that credit card?
This is the bane of my, we're getting way close. So we did get accepted for the the Iowa Card Consortium program. Our banker through US Bank did take the last 2 weeks off, so she's back tomorrow. So then we'll be able to finalize and get the individuals their cards. So, but that is a like partnership. That's one thing. We had to go through an approval process and stuff, but because we are small, so we are getting on like a group program. So it's not like, it'd be City of Cambridge and stuff, but we are gonna get the benefits of having a larger group.
That'd be nice. Thank you.
Yes, so she'll be back tomorrow from vacation, so then we should be good next month. We're before next month.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Before next month, or next meeting or something. Moving on to communications, rural enrichment grant.
The city of Cambridge did not get any money for the electronic sign. We applied for 20,000, but we didn't get any. So I emailed Mid-Iowa Planning Alliance and said, okay, so where can we get money for an electronic sign? So I'll be talking to them.
How come we didn't get any money, do they say?
I sent them, they didn't say yet. I said, what was the scoring thing? What did we lose out on? Because they prefer like communities that are Main Street, Iowa. I don't know what that is. It's a program. I said, well, how can we sign up for that? So they haven't sent me the critique, but I said, I want to know why we didn't get it.
Yeah.
So
Thank you for
I'll
doing
send it to everybody when I get it.
Sounds good, thank you.
Mhm.
Any further discussion on communications? Moving on to old business. Cambridge Opera House. Project update. Coming along.
We're almost done, right?
Let's see, we got finances on there. Update. Yeah, a lot of floorings in.
You have to approve the pay request.
We have a pay request here. Gas main framework is in the back. Pretty much waiting on subcontractors now to come back and finish. The roof is sprayed in. We had an area in the top that was a combustible area. It's completely packed full of blow-in insulation now, so we don't have to put a fire extinguisher system up there, a sprinkler system up there. The electrical panel on the back is there. We'll be waiting on Light Energy now. They require another service disconnect on their end. And it is back ordered too. So we'll be waiting on that.
What's left to do after this?
There's a lot of little stuff.
Just the smaller stuff.
A lot of painting stuff. over there.
Get all the HVAC filled, running, fire everything up. Trim work, tons of trim work, lots of painting.
But all that could be done while we're waiting for that.
Countertops are not
panel.
in.
Once
Or
they,
the-
once, I think once they get appliances and stuff in also, then they can get moving with the hooking up the lines and painting, and painter didn't want to do any of the painting until the trim work was done, so.
Moving on to pay request number 17 from King Knutson Construction for $59,818.30.
Motion to approve pay request number 17.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
How many more pay requests you have?
I don't know. Just as it gets done, as they complete work. I think there's about 200,000 left on the whole project to pay. It'll be complete. Moving on to appliances.
I got a hold of Matt Holt with Lowe's last Monday. He's the guy that Dave was working with. He said he was gonna try to find the spec sheet for all the appliances again. He was not aware that one of the apartment units was ADA compliant, so he was gonna look into what adjustments need to be made for that. I reached out to him again today, haven't heard back to see how we came on that, so I'll keep trying.
Barb, did you get that email just a little
With
bit
the
ago from
appliances?
Corey?
Yeah.
Was that sent to everybody?
I don't know, I'll forward it to Whitney.
So all the countertops are gonna be ADA. So they're 2 inches shorter than the normal one, so
So
all dishwashers,
everything has to be-
all has to be ADA.
Even like refrigerator.
No, not the refrigerator. It's a standard 36 wide. But the dishwashers, and Corey didn't believe that the stoves that they made at ADA and they're 36. What we kind of need soon is like the hoods, the range hoods, and whether they make those ADA.
I asked him about-
What do you say about those?
He was gonna check into it.
Because they can get those wired in now.
So what needs to be ADA dishwashers? What else?
Stove.
Well, Corey didn't think they made an ADA stove
Oh,
in his
I don't
email.
think so.
But they do a dishwasher.
They do a dishwasher.
Normally, they just put a cooktop in and then a stove off to the side, build it in cabinets. Just try to get the, but I think pass that state on your design on that.
Yeah, I don't know. All the counters are gonna be at 34 inches in all apartments.
34. You said 36 before.
36 is normal height.
Oh. okay, so
88 is
34.
34. So Matt was gonna look into finding the previous quote
Yeah.
in the list. I think that was on the email too. In the
Oh, the
email.
list was? Oh.
I'll email it to you.
Yeah, that'd be
Any further discussion on appliances? Moving on to process for sale. How we gonna go about that?
Have we talked with the realtor or anything?
No, but I think we probably could.
At least get
start
their
reaching out
opinion
to
on
somebody.
how to go forward with it.
Are there any volunteers for that? Anybody?
Doesn't matter which realtor we talk to, or just reach out to a couple.
One that's gonna get us the most money.
Actually, no, so I can volunteer for that.
Can you?
I
You
know
wanna
a couple
volunteer for
realtors, so.
Okay. Thank you.
So the planning and zoning committee has a developer coming to talk to their group in December. So it's Kimberly, so I wonder if he has any ideas.
Maybe we could tour them. Tour them through it.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Say, sold.
Yeah, I could see that being like the bidding process, bringing some
Right.
realtors, just, they probably have different perspectives and stuff,
Mhm.
so.
Oh, didn't we have someone say it has to be, we have to do a request or proposal? But no, that would be for projects. I'll ask Bill, how to do that.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on process for sale?
Do we have a deadline of kind of when we're hoping to have it?
I
for
told
sale?
them last meeting, November 5th, somewhere
November
around there for appliances.
Oh,
Oh,
for
we said
appliances.
December.
Oh, December.
That's what
I
you
told them,
said
maybe they'll
last.
hurry up, maybe they'll hurry up.
Okay.
Well, I'll be at the meeting next week, so.
So we're hoping December 5th appliances and stuff, so then we can start selling. I'm going off what you said, December.
Said November.
when
I
did-
mean, that's right around. the
Yeah, I told
corner.
them November 5th.
Okay, well,
Maybe
I
they'll
need to
hurry
know
up.
until the Lowe's guy. November, December.
Okay. See what he says, see what Matt says on availability.
Okay.
City code update, state building code. Is this for water?
We're still waiting on the attorney. On all the state building code stuff.
So we're still waiting.
Yep.
American Rescue Act Plan.
We're waiting for a SAM's number from the US Treasury for the storm sewer extension.
And I reached out to Leanne again and they're still working on our
Okay.
problem with our application, but I did reach out to her.
Okay,
Because we have some other reports that are due,
okay,
and then I can't get into it without having. So I think the correspondence.
and I heard there's other cities having the same problem, so it's not just us.
Yeah, it's not just us.
And that's for the 250,000 for the storm sewer extension, so.
Are you guys?
We're gonna be.
Okay.
All right, baffle curtain, time to talk about
Yeah.
that. So it's next week.
And the drain tile too.
And the drain tile.
So there's some possibilities that we have almost 60,000 still available to help. It'll be deciding which one, depending on the baffle curtain repair, what the cost will be and what insurance won't cover, where our drain tile project is at, and then the council making a decision of where to use those funds.
So what is that funding from? Is that 60,000 from
She said it was left over from one of the other,
grants?
yeah.
Okay.
Moving on, Story County application for storm sewer project. The engineer on that is gonna be, is it gonna be Fox then?
Mhm.
They're gonna do it. Is there any further discussion on the American Rescue Plan Act? Moving on, city staffing. City boards and commissions. Inspections and building permits. Something you want to speak on, Tim?
Yeah, we've went out and looked at all the other surrounding communities. We got about a half a dozen of them we're kind of benchmarking against. The interesting part is they're all different. So there's obviously no code on any of this stuff that says like the applications or what things you're supposed to check or whatever. And we're finding out the vast majority of them just farm all this out. So they'll find some engineering firm or some local, there's a outfit, I think out of Ames that does like Maxwell and Searing and about 20 different communities. So we're looking into, do we want to sign up for that or do we want to do something of our own? I think we're leaning very much toward farming out.
Is that a membership?
Yes.
Like buy into a membership?
Yes. So, but we'll bring a proposal to you next time, promise.
Comprehensive plan, capital improvement plan. You guys work on that also there?
You bet. For that one.
There you go.
Thank you.
Oops, and one more.
So basically, here's a table of contents for the stuff that we're working on. Again, we went and we surveyed our 6 little towns, which are Elkhart, Maxwell, Gilbert, Roland, Woodward, and a couple of others that come to me. Colo was one of them. But nonetheless, we looked and we went and talked to a couple and asked them, can we see your comprehensive plan? Or first of all, do you have one? Like, oh yeah, we have one. Can we see it? No. Why not? And it's filed somewhere. So this part, we're not going to farm out because when they do farm it out, they do it, they certify the state code and they throw it in a drawer and they're looking again. So Rob Keeling and Neil Holland are working on the economic development section to look at, you know, what existing businesses we have, what do we need to do to attract more, you know, those kinds of things. I'm tackling the transportation utilities with Dale, trying to take on all the different, you know, water, storm sewer, those kinds of things, roads. So our first step will be like developing a database
so that we can look at, well, what's got to come next? Because I know Dale knows, but if he gets, let's see, if he hits the lottery and he's no longer available, we've got to have some kind of plan in place so that we don't have to call him up from Tahiti or wherever the heck he moves to. So we haven't got a lot of excitement for the other sections yet, but one of them that we did add, I didn't see in anybody else's comprehensive plans that were able to show them to me, were public safety for fire protection and police. So I think that that's something that we need to address. Describe the existing system that we're using, and then at what level does it need to change? You know, at what population does it break, if you will? And, or more importantly, when do they need more stuff, like the fire guys? You know, when do we need to obsolescence, or maybe they need a new calling system? I don't know, but I think that's something we have to include in our comprehensive plan. And I didn't see that in anybody else's, which I was kind of stunned. But nonetheless, I'd like you to look at this. And if there's something that's glaring, that's missing or something, or more importantly, if there's something you want to jump in and help us work on, we're going to be working on it. And currently kind of our goal is to try to get it somewhere by February. That's not a lot of time, but you know, it'll also breed a little more efficiency, maybe, those kinds of things. And then Barb stole my thunder, thank you, that we're going to be meeting with the developer. Not that we have any grand plans, but it's like, what's the process? We don't know, you know. I mean, how did Elkhart add, you know, 180 homes in 12 years? You know, how do you do that? Not saying we want to do that. It's just that if somebody came along and said, so-and-so has, okay, hit the lottery and moved, and all of a sudden there's, you know, 20 acres of land that is in city limits and they're willing to sell, you know, we better be ready to say, okay, that's great. The street's going to be this wide, the sidewalk's going to be this wide. You're going to have to do this and that and everything, you know, and have some kind of a plan, you know, that says, because I don't know who pays for all this stuff. I'm assuming it's the developer and they make it up and then we assume the maintenance, but we need to understand what's that going to entail, and don't be surprised. Right. You know, because there's limits, like on our water and our sewer systems, you know, so we can handle 40 houses pretty easily, but if somebody came and said they wanted 100, well, that'd be fabulous. Now we need $5 million to improve all of our systems, and they'd go, see ya, we're moving to Huxley. You know, so it's just one of those things that, what can we handle now? And if somebody does come along with those extra 100 houses, what are we going to do? So that's kind of what we're working on.
Did you ever share with Tim that software program about plots out all the water lines and the sewer lines?
No, we can talk about.
Okay.
Stuff like that, run that by him and show him.
That'd be a perfect place to utilize that.
Yeah.
too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We just want to be able to tell them what we can handle instantly, and then what it would take to go to 100 or 200 or whatever the heck the number is. So, and then also be ready to start talking lot sizes. That sure seems to be a big thing.
Sure.
You know, so it's like, how, I mean, are they 40 feet wide, 60 feet wide, 80 feet wide? You know, because that really changes a lot of people's opinions on what they're worth and stuff. So,
Absolutely.
so that's what we're up to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask a little bit about that. Is there, I don't know if there's any like zone, is there zoning in the town, like different commercial areas? Or,
Yep.
I guess I kind of like to know,
You want to get with Tim? You want to get with Tim here? and-
yeah, I mean, I could exchange phone numbers or something.
Sure.
Or,
We'll run down.
I'm a small business owner in Ankeny as well. I've been operating there for 5 years. And, you know, when I come to a little town like this, I kind of look around and kind of see what's available.
Sure.
Maybe a resource for people to say, oh, these are the commercial spaces that may or may not be available, or,
Right.
or maybe, yeah, I guess I'm just not familiar, so I kind of like to get familiar.
Okay.
Make myself.
We meet here the first Tuesday of each month. More than welcome. They're public, so.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to employee handbook. Is that Mike's? Mike is not here.
We the gal that came to one of the first meetings that said she would help with that.
Connie,
Kind of,
Seth gets,
I think she was waiting for us to have a rough draft and then she was gonna help tweak it.
and didn't we prefer the Slater?
Yep.
So we're-
And I have it and I've read through it. And I don't know if Dale's had a chance to, but I know some stuff needs to be
edited.
looked at and edited, yeah. But I couldn't remember the name of the gal. What's Connie's last name?
Seth gets. SEF. Yeah,
Do you have her contact information?
Yep.
for her? Okay.
not here. I haven't.
So we could send that Slater one to her and she could go through it.
She's already went through.
Oh, she has.
She's already went through.
Oh, okay.
Alright. Any further discussion on employee handbook? Moving on, nuisance abatement. The process. We're still waiting on the attorney on that also. Is there any discussion, further discussion on that? Community center rental fees. Talked about that during the work session there.
Right, so after that work session, I went through the fees and put together from Monday through Thursday, we're gonna have 2-hour rental rates. Just to accommodate like nonprofits that want to use this facility like on a Wednesday night.
Mhm.
So my 3-tier description is residents with addresses within the city will be given a discount, and that's listed in this rental rate. Nonprofits will be charged 50% of the total fee, and then everyone else pays the full rental. So I shared this with everybody.
Mhm.
That's just a recommendation.
I like this. I think it's fair. And like we kind of discussed before, I think it's easy for the city clerk just to be able to look at this and say, you fall within this category, your events like this, here's your rate. So I like what Barb put together.
How many hours are we considering a half day? Is it 4 or
6.
6? Okay. We need to add that.
Oh,
somewhere
okay.
just to
I didn't know
specify.
that. 6 hours? I'll add that.
So on one of those nonprofits, since they use it every week, how are we gonna go about billing? We gonna wait till the end into their session on using it, figure up all their time then, are we gonna bill them monthly?
Won't matter either way for me. Maybe we can make up some type of a contract with individual. Because one person organization's gonna be using it every week, or another organization might only be once a month or once every 3 months. So they can pay each time, but somebody that's using it every week, maybe we could do on a 3-month basis or a monthly basis or. I don't know if you guys have any suggestions on that.
Monthly, maybe monthly would be easier for that.
Monthly would probably be easier.
For us
Easier to
and,
remember.
I think then it would be helpful too, if there's any way to know that if they're not going to meet on one of the Wednesdays that,
oh. that's
if
right.
somebody was looking for it,
Mm-hmm.
that we could still rent it out on, we need a schedule
Oh.
from them.
Right, right.
Yeah.
What Wednesdays are you using it and which ones are you not using it? And if you give us that schedule, you're agreeing to the payment of that facility.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do at the ice arena. We send like rental agreements. And then, if they call me and they're like, we're not using it in 2 days, we still charge them because you agreed to that time.
Right.
But if you gave up your ice time before, then obviously we're not charging you.
Okay.
So I
Sounds
think
good.
having that schedule, so like you said, it's not a last minute, oh, we're not using it, and you turn down somebody prior.
So with that, came up today, a situation where somebody, this isn't until like March, has a Saturday that they have it reserved.
Right.
But then 2 Saturdays from that, they have it as a snow day, so if it got canceled, which means I can't rent it to that on that snow day either, so how do we do that? Because that's giving up
2 days.
2 dates on a weekend.
You're gonna have to go for that.
I would think that we would tell them that snow date isn't guaranteed if somebody
Rents it,
asks to rent it,
right, yeah, I think that's a good
if
idea.
it's available.
Yeah, I think I could see that in that situation, you hold it, and if somebody asks for that day, then you go back to the original renter and
And
say,
say-
you either book this day, whether
Right.
you use it or not, or,
We
Right,
have
you give
somebody
it up.
else that would like to use it,
but if nobody wants that day,
they can use it as a
then
snow
they
day.
can just use it.
We'll just tell them that the snow day is upon availability.
Yeah,
They might
Well,
have to
that
look at a
works.
different snow day.
yeah. Sounds good.
I motion to approve the new rental fees.
Second.
Motion for approval of the new rental fee, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on to utility billing, late fees. We're talking about changing the late fees to just a set flat rate fee instead of a percentage off of what the bill was for the month. To encourage people to pay maybe on time.
So were we talking just a $20 late fee,
I think we got
That's what-
higher,
25?
it's 25 or 30, I
I
thought.
thought
Somebody
you guys
wanted
said, no, they agreed on keeping it at 20
Oh, was
in
it?
the meeting,
I think somebody wanted to get a fight for a $5 bill, not just make it.
right, just a $20.
Give it work for it.
Sounds good.
So we drew up the ordinance. It requires 3 votes. We can
Oh, okay,
vote for the first one tonight.
okay,
Then it'll go on the agenda for the next one. And because I have to put it on the agenda that it's been voted on once, it's going for a second vote if anybody wants to oppose. Otherwise, you guys can waive the 3rd reading and then it can go into effect after the next council meeting.
so do we need to make a motion for,
Yes, motion to approve the ordinance change.
I make a motion to approve the ordinance change regarding utility fee billing.
Second.
All in favor for the ordinance number 22-B. In favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
On that utility billing, I also wanted to bring to everyone's attention. So I found out as we've had some late kind of extreme utility billing and people have moved and we've lost that. There's actually an application that when someone moves to town to fill out an application. And on the application, it has them mark whether they're the owner or the renter. And if they're a renter, who the landlord is. So that way we have contact information. It also asks for their social security number because that is needed if you ever want to assess to their property taxes. You have to have their social security number, which in our utility program right now, we don't have any of that information. So I have a sample one that I'd like to tweak to the city of Cambridge and start implementing that. They have to fill out the application for utility services in towns.
So like you said, that would guarantee that even if it is a renter and they move,
So
the
if it-
city of Cambridge is getting the money for the utilities.
Or
one
if
way
we're
or
having a
another.
problem getting utilities paid, we can reach out to the landlord to let them know that that will become their responsibility if that person leaves and doesn't pay their water bill, because it falls back on the owner of the property.
I think that's a necessity.
Do you need any action to change
So
that or
we'll deal
not?
with that.
Yeah, but no, I don't think so. This is just something that's
Just an application.
just an approval from you guys that we can implement one. I can bring it to the next meeting to approve it as used for utility application.
And so that would just be filled out when somebody moves here and they call you to put the utilities.
They
in
stop
their
in to
name,
do their $100 deposit.
They're filling that
They'd have
out.
to fill this out with all their information. Otherwise, it's right now, it just goes on a little sheet of paper. So then I'd have a file for all of these.
Want to do a motion on that?
Nope, don't need a motion on that.
Is there any further discussion on utility billing late fee? Moving on to new business. Story County hiring of deputy coordinator for emergency management.
It was just that we got an email stating that the new deputy coordinator was hired with the start date of October 17th. His name is David Cooper. He's newly retired from Nebraska National Guard, and he'll be introduced in the 19th commission meeting.
Moving on to Ames Chamber of Commerce. Story County Economic Development Summit.
That is Thursday. I can't go. I have other commitments.
Yep, it's October 13th.
So if anybody wants to go, I put the link on here.
Yep.
I was
Are they
gonna
gonna
check.
record it? Are they gonna record that also?
I'll ask.
Good idea. I would doubt it. Is there a fee to go? Or was it
I
free?
don't
Do you
think, I think
remember?
it's free.
Might be free. Or breakfast was provided, I think it said.
And one of the speakers is talking about 3D printable homes. Have you seen that? Where they print? I said, we could take a couple. And Julie Robinson is speaking,
Oh,
the
really?
dean's wife. So, that's it.
Just move it up. Yeah,
Mhm.
Is that part of your annual event? Of that, is that part of the annual event?
Yeah, that's the annual Economic Development Summit.
Any further discussion on Ames Chambers of Commerce? Moving on to trick or treat beggars night.
So do we normally just leave it on the date, October 31st, or is
So
there,
that's what you guys have to decide on.
we normally just do it on the.
So
9th?
Huxley's is on the 31st. I don't know when Maxwell's is.
Oh,
Which I was
okay.
talking, because I was asked to bring it up tonight. They say they try to avoid Huxley's.
Hmm.
So that-
Huxley was Beggars Night's the night before Halloween, right?
So
I didn't look at when Huxley's was, so.
Okay.
is theirs is on the
Same day.
31st?
And Huxley's always been on 31st.
Yeah,
A lot of times they try to have towns try to do it at the same time, so you don't have people skipping towns all over. So if everybody's town has the same night, the same time.
Yeah, I think that works. So I'll make a motion to make Halloween.
What time?
Or do we don't have to do a motion, do we?
We can. Do we know anything about, was it Parks and Rec that used to do like the haunted forest and stuff like that?
Fire
No, that was
department
fire
did.
Was Fire
department.
department? Is there
They haven't
anything?
done
They
that
had
for
too
a
much
couple
on their
years.
plate this year, from what I understand.
I heard about it. We need to bring it back. 'Cause I haven't seen it, so.
Maybe after.
Everybody keeps telling me about how
Yeah.
awesome it was,
It was
so.
pretty cool.
So we have it 31st, you guys need to set time also for Beggars Night.
Oh, okay.
It's actually doing 6 to 8. That's what I saw.
Forgot to look what time. But we, you guys can do 6 to 8, it's totally up to you.
6 to 8 sounds good. This one's good. I need a
Gives people
motion.
time to come home and.
6 to 8?
Yep.
Will somebody put that on the sign so
On
people
the-
know?
Sure. I'll have to ask Pam.
It's not supposed to be digital, you can just do it from
$30,000 if you did that.
And we're still allowing this side street, right? This is where we're planning like that trunk or treat for the churches and stuff.
Oh,
You do that last year?
Are they doing it?
Yes.
okay.
So do we need to?
Why are they doing that?
Who's that through? You know, is that?
Janet brought it up, so
Is
I'm
it
guessing
through
it's the
Dorcas?
Methodist church.
Methodist?
When is it?
They were waiting to see what we decided.
Same night.
So just kind of trunk or treat. They did it last year, right along here.
Okay. Do they need the street closed? Is that what you're
Not
saying?
necessarily closed, but they just want to make sure we're okay with people setting up shop over
Oh,
here.
okay.
You know, the kids just stopping and hitting all the trucks.
Okay.
All right, any?
I think you just needed to set it, but we can make a motion if you want and cover.
No, it's not.
Okay.
We already did number 10.
Yeah.
10's good. Is there any further discussion on trick or treat Beggars Night? Is there any comments from the audience on this? Since it pertains to your houses, maybe being TV or so. No?
That's a big deal anymore.
I think the mayor's house was keeping
Right.
that night, right?
And I took a bunch of trees out of the neighbors, so it'll be easy to spot. That's what it is.
Right. All right, number 10, we already addressed. Moves us to mayor and council comments. Anything from anybody?
Well, the historical association's having a meet in Palooza next Saturday
Next Saturday?
to raise funds for various
You know a
projects.
date on
October
15th.
15th from 3 to 6.
From what time?
3 to 6.
Is that kicking off their meeting, Jesus?
No, I think they had one last month. They had it.
And I hear they have a quilt.
Now we're having a quilt raffle too.
There's tickets, yeah.
Heard
That's
it's a beautiful quilt. So.
really pretty. Do you want me to send you a picture?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all I hear about from Janet is that quilt.
There's flyers on the bulletin boards out
Okay.
here with pictures of the quilt.
Mhm.
All I got's a building meeting, Opera House meeting next week, Tuesday, 9 o'clock in the morning. And we have now posted volunteers for Parks and Rec. If anybody knows anybody, put the word around. I'd like to get that filled and moving.
How many positions are,
This is 5.
all 5 need to be filled for that?
We don't have any right now.
There's none
That I
right
know.
We got one.
All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.